Russia and Ukraine is at its highest in years as Russia increases its military presence near the Ukraine border. Concern about a possible invasion grows. In an interview with NBC News, President Biden urged Americans in Ukraine to get out as soon as they can.
American citizens should leave now. We're dealing with one of the largest armies in the world. This is a very different situation and things could go crazy quickly.
And the standoff is hitting close to home for one Ukrainian woman who lives in the city. New York One's Arnold Davik spoke with her about her ties to friends and family and her fears about potential military action by Russia.
Yulia O'Connell looks back at memories of when she was still living in Ukraine.
When we got married with Ukrainian Catholic Church.
Now as tensions rise in her native country, she's thinking about what Ukrainians have been through for nearly a decade.
I think it's like a hell. My best friend's niece got 1 month in a dungeon because on social media she posted Ukrainian symbols. They came to her apartment, they took her boyfriend, they put her in the dungeon for a month.
She says for some of her family still in the occupied territories, it is difficult to have access to things that are necessary.
So many doctors left, so they don't get a health care. My uncle had to come to Kyiv to get diagnosed.
O'Connell says close friends living in Ukraine are preparing for a possible invasion.
There are civilians who are doing right now on training, like they're organizing to get military training, to get like training how to operate in the city if anything would happen.
O'Connell, a proud Ukrainian, is doing what she can from New York to help her people. One of her efforts, English lessons on Zoom for Ukrainian teachers and military veterans.
One of the guy, he says, I know where my wife and my kids will go. I know what village I'm going to put them, and I'll go back to front line.
Back in 2014, O'Connell, her husband, who is American, and her children were living in Moscow when Russia invaded Ukraine. As tensions grew, that's when her family fled to the States.
What was going on in the country at that point that made you feel like you and your family needed to come here?
To come here. Propaganda was already so strong that America is the enemy, and Ukraine is like a bunch of Nazi and fascists, that kids began to bully my 10-year-old. It was scary, scary, scary times.
As she watches reports of Russia moving 100,000 troops to the border and deploying warships to the area, O'Connell tells me she is hoping for no war.
My small motherland is taken away from me completely.
And for now, you don't know when that'll happen for you, when you'll be back?
No. I hope it will happen during my life. I hope.
Arnold Davik, New York One.
Russia and Ukraine is at its highest in years as Russia increases its military presence near the Ukraine border. Concern about a possible